In the dusty outskirts of northern Nigeria, a young girl named Zainab lived a life etched with hardship. Her father, a fisherman, often came home with an empty net, and her mother sold firewood. Her hands rough from the splinters, hunger was a frequent visitor in their small home. But within Zainab's heart, a powerful dream flickered like a stubborn flame. One day, she would tell herself, "I will rise above this poverty. My life will be a testimony." While others slept, Zainab's shadow danced on the wall, cast by the dim light of a single kerosene lamp. She devoured books, her mind hungry for knowledge, practicing her writing on any scrap of paper she could find. The world around her wasn't always kind. Villagers would whisper and sometimes mock her openly. "Look at the fisherman's daughter, trying to be a scholar," they'd say. "What can a poor girl like her possibly achieve?" But their words were just wind against the mountain of her resolve. Every night, she folded her hands in prayer. Her faith a shield against the doubt, she held on to her dream, nurturing it with every lesson learned and every page turned. Years of relentless effort finally paid off. A letter arrived one day, a beacon of hope that shone brighter than any lamp. Zainab had earned a full scholarship to a university. It was her ticket out, the first step on a journey she had only dared to imagine. As she packed her few belongings, leaving her village behind, she carried with her not just books, but the unwavering belief that her circumstances did not define her. University was a new world, vast and sometimes intimidating. It was there, amidst the libraries and lecture halls, that she met Adeyemi. He was a brilliant young man, his eyes holding the same fire of ambition she saw in her own reflection. He came from a modest family, and they quickly bonded over their shared values, a deep-seated faith and an unshakable belief in the power of hard work. They became inseparable, study partners who turned into the closest of friends. When Zainab felt overwhelmed by the pressures of her new life, Adeyemi was there to remind her of her strength. When Adeyemi doubted his abilities, Zainab's encouragement was the wind beneath his wings. They navigated the challenges of university together, their friendship a powerful alliance built on mutual respect and shared dreams. They were two souls from humble beginnings, determined to rewrite their stories. After graduation, with their degrees in hand, the real world awaited. Adeyemi, filled with innovative ideas, decided to start a small business. Zainab, believing in his vision completely, stood right by his side, offering her support and sharp intellect. The early days were brutal. They poured all their savings, all their energy into the venture, but success was elusive. One business idea failed, then another. Doors were slammed in their faces. Lenders turned them away. Debts began to pile up, a heavy cloud that threatened to extinguish their hopes. The same whispers they thought they'd left behind returned. People who knew them began to laugh. "We told you so," they'd say. Dreamers who thought they could conquer the world. The weight of failure was immense, and even Adeyemi's spirit started to waver. But in their darkest hour, Zainab became his rock. She took his hands one evening, her gaze firm and unwavering. "My love," she said, her voice filled with a conviction that chased away the shadows. "Remember what they say about gold. It is refined in fire. These struggles, these failures, this is our fire. It's meant to purify us, not destroy us. We will endure this, and we will come out shining." Her words were a lifeline. Together, they picked themselves up. They analyzed their mistakes, refused to surrender, and tried again. They worked day and night, fueled by coffee, sheer grit, and an unbreakable partnership. Slowly, painstakingly, things began to change. A small contract came through. Then another. Adeyemi's business acumen, combined with Zainab's brilliant financial management, proved to be an unstoppable force. She watched over every penny with wisdom, making shrewd investments and cutting unnecessary costs. He focused on innovation and building relationships. The business, once a fragile seedling, began to grow roots, then a sturdy trunk. And finally, it branched out in ways they had never imagined. Their perseverance had turned the tide. The whispers of mockery faded, replaced by murmurs of awe. Within a decade, their lives had transformed completely. The young couple who once counted every coin were now one of the wealthiest in the nation. But their wealth did not change who they were at their core. They never forgot the sting of hunger, the shame of poverty, or the kindness of a scholarship that changed a life. They saw their success not as a private victory, but as a public trust. Their true legacy wasn't in their bank accounts, but in the lives they touched. They established foundations, building modern schools in villages that had none. They constructed hospitals, ensuring that no one would suffer from a lack of medical care. And most importantly, they set up massive scholarship funds, specifically for children from poor families, children just like Zainab once was. They were giving countless others the same chance she had fought so hard for. One day, they returned to Zainab's village. A grand ceremony was held in their honor. In the very place where she was once mocked, she stood on a stage, looking out at the faces of the villagers, some old and familiar, some young and full of hope. The air was thick with respect. Taking the microphone, her voice, clear and strong, rang out across the crowd. "I was born in this village, and a home where poverty was our daily bread," she began. "But I was never poor in spirit. My heart held a dream, and my soul held on to faith." She looked over at Adayemi, her partner in struggle and in triumph, and a warm smile graced her lips. With faith in God, with love for each other, and with a perseverance that refused to be broken, we turn clay into gold. She paused, letting her words sink in, her gaze sweeping over the young children in the front row. Let our story be a lesson to every child here today. Your background does not define your destiny. Your spirit does. Dream big, work hard, and never, ever give up. The crowd erupted in applause, a thunderous wave of hope and inspiration, echoing the testimony of a life that had truly risen. Thank you for watching this story of incredible resilience. If it inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that celebrates the power of the human spirit.